Hello, my name is Scott Holt, Director of Partner Marketing at Invention Machine, and I will be your host for today's webinar, Connecting Engineers to Information with Semantic Technology. Engineers require information to do their jobs effectively, and their ability to access that information quickly has tremendous impact on their ability to work efficiently. There was once a time when the amount of information that an engineer needed to know was relatively manageable and fairly easy to find out. But over the past few decades, the amount of content on any given topic, both inside and outside the organization, has grown exponentially. Organizations are drowning in content, but that only makes it more difficult for engineers to find the information that's needed for them to be able to do their jobs effectively. The cost of not finding critical information is high. Hours wasted looking for documents, redundant development activity, loss of tribal knowledge, and poor access to new sources of information that can provide pivotal opportunities for breakthrough solutions and innovation. Just to put a number on this dilemma, it's been documented that 40% of all engineering work is redundant, reinventing technology that's already available. To break this problem down a little further, let's look at what companies really need. They need to be able to leverage their existing knowledge, regardless of where it resides. In effect, they need to know what they know, so that they can take full advantage of it. At the same time, it's critical for companies to be able to keep up with the competition, understand their customers, and stay abreast of trends and new technology. They need to know what everyone else knows. And finally, all of this information needs to be available to enable engineers to make the best decisions possible, whether it be how to solve a problem, what materials to use, or how to repurpose existing technology for a new market. But the tools available for finding information today have a serious limitation. Keyword search is designed to help find information that you already know exists. If you need to look up a part number or pull out a named document, then keyword search is the right tool for the job. But typically engineers have to ask different kinds of questions, understanding cause and effect, whole part relationships, advantages and disadvantages, or how to improve systems. And that's where Goldfire can help. Goldfire works by accessing relevant content from inside and outside your organization and transforming it into usable knowledge. It does this using its patented semantic technology that actually reads and understands the meaning of every document available to it. It then uses this knowledge to provide answers and insights to you in the context of a variety of critical engineering tasks. It effectively connects engineers to the information that they need to make the best decisions and take the best actions. Let's see how Goldfire's semantic technology actually makes this possible. Semantics is defined as the science of meaning and language, and Goldfire's semantic research capabilities allow us to do effective research in a way that's not possible with other technologies. In this example, we're interested in information about an actuator. Assume that this sentence is buried in the middle of a lengthy document along with millions of other documents covering a broad set of topics. The actuator raises the door. It comprises a diaphragm and hydraulic fluid, but a fluid leak can result in abrasion and failure of the actuator. With semantic processing, the meaning of the sentence is understood, so it's indexed based on the concepts discussed. In this sentence, the actuator performs a function that changes the state of a door. Indexing sentences based on subjects that perform actions that affect objects is a great way to support research questions such as, what can an actuator raise, or how can I raise a door? Engineers and researchers also need to know the composition of a product or process. Goldfire's semantics tell us that our actuator includes a diaphragm and some hydraulic fluid. Besides identifying parts that are directly included in the system, Goldfire will also identify indirect components, supersystems or environmental elements that can interact with and affect a device or process. And notice that based on the sentence construction, Goldfire is able to understand that these items are part of an actuator, even though the words are only indirectly linked. And finally, Goldfire's semantics can help you diagnose or anticipate failures, or conversely, understand how to produce a desired effect, because it will identify and index all causal relationships that are found in the content. There's probably no set of questions more commonly asked than those dealing with cause and effect. Engineers are constantly asking, what can cause this? What effect will this produce? Or how can I make this happen? How can I prevent this from happening? And these are only 3 of the over 100 semantic relationships that Goldfire understands. That's why we use the term research to describe Goldfire's semantic processing. And I'm going to show you how this actually works in the product. You'll see I'm here in Goldfire's knowledge search interface, and I'm going to type in a very simple question for Goldfire. How to pump oil. Goldfire will go out and look at all the content that has been indexed and bring back some direct answers to my question. In this case, Goldfire organizes all the answers over here on the right-hand side, and it also noticed that the object of my question was oil, so it's broken oil down into the various topics that it found associated with oil. So I have lubrication oil, popcorn oil, crude oil, hydraulic oil, etc. Up at the top, my answers all have to do with various ways to pump. You use a hydraulic pump, an engine-driven oil pump, or a scavenge pump, or a piston. So you'll see this is a very accurate and relevant set of answers that have been returned to me. But what I really want to show with this example is that if I simply change this question, and instead of saying how to pump oil, I ask how to oil a pump, although I'm using exactly the same words, I've now switched them so that oil is no longer an object, but now it is the action. And pump is no longer the action, but now it's the object. Now, if you think about what a keyword search engine would do, it would still be keying in on those same words and not really understand the difference in meaning that's been created. But Goldfire does understand the difference in meaning. So let's see what kind of results we get when we ask Goldfire how to oil a pump. And as we expect, Goldfire understands the nature of our question. So rather than getting answers about how to pump oil, we're now getting answers about lubrication, how to lubricate a pump, the regulation of flow by fuel of a high-pressure pump, lubricating and cooling the pump. And over here, my answers are various types of lubricants, refrigeration lubricant, lubricating oil, water could be used to lubricate a pump. And my topics have to do with various types of pumps, high pressure pumps, heat pumps, vacuum pumps, etc. So you can see very quickly that Goldfire is really getting to the heart of the question that I'm asking because it understands my meaning. Let's take this a little further and look at a particular example that an engineer might have to address. How to reduce friction. Now again, I'm asking Goldfire a question, so I'm expecting to get some answers back. And what I'll see here is various ways of removing friction. A chemical additive can reduce resultant wear and friction. A method for reducing the friction caused by sliding contact. And Goldfire is finding the most relevant answers, the ones that actually answer the question that I asked. Again, on the right-hand side, I'm getting all of the various answers to my question, bearings, coatings, rollers, various arrangements that can reduce friction. And I'm getting different types of friction, fluid friction, air friction, skin friction. So it makes it very easy for me to drill down and get to exactly the type of information that I need to get from this question that I asked. Goldfire is able to understand the various ways of reducing friction by using these words to analyze and understand exactly what's being returned here. If I like, I can take a look at the document that's been returned just by clicking on a link. This links out to the document in its original location, and the documents are never actually moved when Goldfire does its indexing. But it does give me a link, and you'll notice that it drops me right into the place in the document where my answer is found. If I don't want to read through the whole document, I can simply ask Goldfire to create a summary for me. By clicking on the wrench icon, Goldfire will go out and generate a dynamic summary that gives me an overview of the whole document. And I can toggle this to be less or more level of detail, so that I can really get a quick look, or I can get a much more detailed look at what's going on in that document. And it's all because of Goldfire's understanding of the information that it's able to do these things. Now, there are certain times when, as an engineer, rather than asking a specific question, I may want to just have a general, get some general knowledge about a particular topic. Perhaps I'm starting a new project and I really want to get grounded with appropriate information about a topic. So instead of putting in a question, let me just put in a term. I'll just type the word friction in here and ask Goldfire to bring back some results about that. And I think what you'll see here will be very interesting and a great demonstration of how Goldfire's semantic technology is able to bring a lot of power to this research capability. You'll notice that I've gotten a completely different set of results here. Because I didn't ask a question, Goldfire understands that it doesn't need to give me a specific answer. What it does instead is to ask a series of questions on my behalf to help me get to the particular area of interest that I might have. Just in the same way that if you asked an expert in your organization about friction, they would start asking you questions. What type of friction are you talking about? Do you want to know about the advantages of friction, the disadvantages, various methods of preventing friction, or various methods by which friction can occur? And Goldfire not only does this for this general category, but it also breaks it down into other areas as well. What are the various elements that are impacted by friction? What are the objects acted upon by friction? The objects that act, the various interactions that occur. Oh, I see friction generates heat, or friction can charge toner. I didn't know that. That might be something that's very interesting for me. Force can overcome friction. A bearing reduces friction. So simply by putting one word into my query box, now I'm being fed all of this information that can help me really get to an answer that I might be looking for. And we can go further down and even look at the causes and effects of friction. The various causes of friction are over here. The various effects of friction are here. And ways to prevent friction. I didn't ask Goldfire to provide that for me, but Goldfire went out and did it because it knows that that's something that I, as an engineer, might be interested in. If we just jump back to the general facts here, I'm going to show you that we can drill down from this area. So rather than looking at just friction, let's say mechanical friction is something that's interesting to me. By clicking on the magnifying glass, I can now drill down into this area of mechanical friction. And now you'll notice mechanical friction is up here, and Goldfire has re-established a set of new lenses, as we call them, to help me drill down further. I can even go further down to something, 0-volt resistance. Don't really know what that is, but maybe that's something that's interesting, and Goldfire has identified that it has to do with mechanical friction. I can go down this way and find out more and more information and get more specific about what I want to know. And Goldfire's keeping track of all my research. You'll notice I started out with my general question, but then I asked about friction, and then I asked about mechanical friction, and then I asked about 0 voltage resistance. Goldfire is tracking all of this for me, and in this research guide that Goldfire creates, I'm able to save all of this information. I'm able to annotate it. I can share it with others in my organization, so I can really move collaboration forward. Or if I just walk away from this project for a few days or weeks, I can come back and get exactly to where I was. And if I click on any of these boxes, Goldfire will jump me right back to the area where I was in the research. So it's a great, powerful, dynamic way of getting research that I need, getting to the relevant information that I want, and getting precise answers to questions that I ask. And so really that brings us to the conclusion of this brief webinar today. And I hope that you saw the power that Goldfire's semantic research is able to apply and the way that it can help engineers to reduce research time, eliminate redundant work, and drive better problem and opportunity analysis. And that, of course, will result in faster time to market, reduced costs, better solutions, and better knowledge reuse in the organization. Because a company's knowledge is really its most valuable asset. And the ability to reuse that knowledge is where companies can really separate themselves from their competition. I want to thank everyone for joining us for today's webcast and just let you know that we've got a series of these talking about the various capabilities that Goldfire can provide to help engineers connect to information and drive productivity. Thanks again, and we hope we'll see you in September.